Hello.
Alrighty.
Hey,
Am
hey, hey, hey.
Hey, Surav, Robin, Thomas. We continue with the program, and oh my God, we had yeah. So this is the Unity programming challenge. We had the biggest amount of submissions. I played those games today, actually, before the event. It was fantastic to see. Oh my God! Thank you everyone who participated. But today we have Surav, Thomas, and Robin. You guys wanna do a quick introduction before I jump and show the winners?
Yes, yeah, hi. Welcome and so many great contributions. Really excited. Of course, not everybody can win, but we're going to present some cool projects that were handed in. Myself, I'm Robin. I work at InnoGames in Hamburg, Unity developer, and I'm excited to be here.
Hey everyone. I'm Saurav. I work in Unity Helsinki office, and I work with the engine support team. But I've also have had a long career as a game developer. And regarding this competition, I must say that this time the quality of submissions have really been top notch. I had had a very like challenging time to decide the winner as to who is to be given which prize, but I think we have unanimously made our decision. So the games we have chosen, I think they would really strike with you. I'm really excited to show what we have in store for us today.
Yep, I agree with that. Hi, everybody. My name is Tomer Thomas. I work at Unity as a technical marketing advocate on the education team. I'm a Unity certified programmer, and just want to echo what everybody said. The games this year were really, really good. Oh, who's the presenter? Okay,
Great.
it's Ola.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I
Oh,
just wanted
Oleg.
to say that we have the drums. So let's announce the winners of the Unity Programming Challenge. Most creative, Jerry Achanen. Congratulations, Jerry. Best technical execution, Jasper Hankasala. So if you guys are here, fantastic. Congratulations. And best overall concept, Alexander Tikhamirov. With that being said, guys, I think I give the floor to you. So let's dig into the code.
All right.
Yes, I think I'm going to start. Maybe you can show my screen, please. Yes, okay. So it's my pleasure to show you and review a bit the game that was scored most creative. It's called Endless Archer. Really cool game. Being an archer myself, even called Robin, so I think this is pretty fitting for Robin Hood. And let me just quickly give you a few seconds playtime here, just so everybody gets on the page. So this is like an endless runner, and you of course are equipped with a bow and arrow and have to shoot these targets. But there is a twist. So now there's these red walls, right? And if I shoot with an arrow these turn markers, I will move to the other walls, which is pretty clever and it's a lot of fun. Like, and to get extra points, you then, of course, can hit the extra targets, but the main goal is survival. And you, of course, always get faster and faster. So now I'm going to, of course, intentionally, I've never lost at this game, die. So nice game over screen. There's even a high score system. Kudos, cool game. We played here with the colleagues a bit. It's a lot of fun. So of course you can see top-notch settings is also included, and a menu, so everything there, what a small game like this needs. So very nice. On the code side, let me switch quickly to the code. I hope this is big enough for everybody to see. So first of all, very nice that you took the time to write the README. It was very helpful, and it always gives a good quality of a project, any game, any library have a nice README. Here you can see how to play and even how to install, and there's some tips and tricks, and of course some credits and notices who helped or what frameworks were used. So very nice, even using the emojis always gives a good appearance. So then moving on to the code, this game has a singleton game manager, a pretty standard pattern, but it's always nice to have like a one place in the code where you kind of set where something starts and also what gets connected to what. This is nice. You can go through here. You already see like the first thing that's gonna happen, like opening the main menu, and then continuing into the game. Here you can also see it. I think at least this programmer has already seen some stuff I really like. Maybe it's just a detail, but for using, sometimes it's necessary to use Unity editor code inside the runtime code. So basically, if the file wouldn't be here, then this would result in a compile error when building the game, but not
Just a heads up, Robin. I think we're only seeing the Unity editor still. We're not seeing the if you're showing like a Visual Studio window, we're not seeing that.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
No problem.
Just hold on a sec. Okay. Gonna unshare again. This is always the live demo stuff, right? Yeah. Okay. So this should work now. Oleg, can you please show my screen in the presentation in the StreamYard? Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay. Can you see my code now? Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Thanks. So just really quickly going back to the README. Here's the README, really nice README, and apply everything what I said before that. We have this game manager where you can, it's a singleton here, and you can see where everything starts. Coming back to the small detail, sometimes when you have Unity editor code, you have to use it in the runtime code. Like here, it's convenience function to stop playing. And I really like that you include the namespace here and not at the top of the file. Normally, I see a lot that you like have Unity editor up here, and this always muddies the usings, and sometimes other using slides into this define, and then that gives even more build errors once you build the code. So of course I remove that. So nice touch on that. And let's go on. I really like that you made it modular to extend the code and extend the level design. So we have like level segments. This is all based on the like controller. And let's quickly look at the segments. So every level segment is like their own prefab. And you can see here how they're designed, really easy to extend them. You could create another one and plug it into the segment controller. Really cool. And of course, this all checks out. You're spawning the prefabs. I guess you could pool them at some point, but it's, in this case, not necessary. Let's also check the score controller. So basically this takes care of the score. It records like if the player did some action that results in a score or combo. I really like that you're using observer patterns here. So basically, once this variable gets the value of this gets modified, then other things like the UI can subscribe to it, and then automatically gets updated. Just keeps things separated and clean. Really nice. One thing I would suggest, or I would change in here, you can see we have the score observer. And then in the level controller, we can see that we now use this. So here is the score controller from the score. And we now add a listener to subscribe to this when the score changes. And this inline method here, or local method, then sets actually the score on the view. So this score here is the view. And then that sets the score. And when we go into here, we can then see that it actually sets like the view values, even with an animation. So very nice. But I personally think maybe there's a reason for this. I mean, you can always shoot an email to me and telling me I'm wrong, but I think this indirection is one level too much. Like there's no real reason, I think, that you wouldn't be able to also just subscribe to this observer directly from the view. Now we're like piping through the score controller, through the level controller into the view. That would be the nice thing about observers, that you can like directly access them from the view. And even if you would have to do some validation here, I mean, let's assume you would like say that the score cannot be negative or something like this, you would edit it. then you could still use this and not do it in here, but do it inside the observer. So that's also a very powerful thing about the observer pattern, is that you could add like validation and other functions directly in here, and then there's just one single point of truth then. Of course, there's a lot more to dig in here and a lot more to explore, but these are the highlights I think were interesting for me in the code, and I would move on to the next speaker. So thank you for the submission.
All right, this is my screen. I think we need to go to Sora first.
Yep. Hey, so the game I'm going to talk about, this is Dig Deeper. And let me first actually play the game a little bit to illustrate what the game is all about. Immediately, I like how the UI is already animating, and there are credits and settings. Well, inside help, you can even figure out what the game is about and why is it running this way, or what are you supposed to do. So if I play this game, you have a drill that detaches, and then you can basically encounter some enemies here. Right now I can control the drill using the A and D keys, but if I switch to one of my guns, then I can start shooting. And the idea is to survive for as long as I can in this pit. In the process, you also collect some diamonds or iron, gold, and there are stations within which you can deposit them. And well, on top, as you see, this is the health bar. And well, the idea is to basically dig as deep as possible. Visually, it's a very interesting game because of all the submissions that were submitted, this was kind of stunning, and it immediately stood up out for me at least. There were lots of really nice submissions, but this one, based on the visual and everything, it was immediately something that stood out from a lot of other things. So this is a trading station. I can sell all the things that I've collected so far. And my drill, whichever was the damage, it has been fixed. And then I can leave from there and without selling anything. There are some enemies that come along the way, and there are some mines that you need to also like maneuver against. Now, I just want to have a look at the inside the editor before I go into the actual code base. Main menu is kind of stationed as it is, but here, as you can see, the most interesting part of the game is that despite doing all these things, and there are a few things I would like to talk about eventually, the game quite consistently runs at 60 FPS, which is really nice for a game like this. Now let's actually get into gameplay. The scene that starts up when you start the game. First off, I really like how basically the hierarchy is set up. Although I think these are mostly labels, and well, there is a small uh, performance hit that you're suffering because this is essentially a game object that has a transform, which is also baked into the scene transform when it is calculated, but obviously it's doing nothing. But because this is hidden or switched off, so that is why the kind of performance hit is not that much. But at the same time, it is a very nice indicator as to what is happening, what are the systems, and how to access them. And if I bring the code here, so just a sec. So this is the code. These are the like game systems, and there are lots of scripts here. This entire thing, and immediately number one is the code base is like very well segregated. You know what to find and where to find it. Let's start by going to this script called drill state machine. this is mainly the script that runs the drill. So any okay, before I even show you the drill state machine, let's actually get to the drill state machine game object. And one thing is laudable, that is there are lots of things that you can do from the editor for debugging purposes. For example, you can heal the driller to max or kill it instantly, and just to check what's going on. And I believe this is applicable on every other entity that is there. So this is a very nice, these kind of things are very nice to have for debugging purposes. Also, you can see there is range slider here, which is very nice for somebody with visual, for just, making sense of the numbers on both ends. So although these are not like mainstays here, there's not a lot of visual or editor scripts in this particular project, but the small things that has been done are really nice and well done, and I really appreciate them. So now if I get back to the scripts, one thing is also the fact that in some of the games I have seen, and I think Thomas is gonna agree with me on this, that a lot of you have submitted variables which are public for no real reason. Uh, uh, if your intention is to just expose a variable as in the editor, then this is the correct way of doing it. In this way, it is available to the editor, but at the same time, it is not available to any other script that might just grab it if it was public, or available to the outside this assembly in whole. Uh, Lots of getters and setters. A lot of things are happening in Awake. That is great. All in all, this game project has the uh, dominant design pattern is singleton, which is good. It works for this particular game, but probably I would, if I were doing this, I would, drill down, well, drill, pun intended, down a little bit into observer pattern. UI is actually using observer pattern, and I'm gonna get into there. That's actually quite appreciated. Uh, so this another thing here. So okay. So remember how we saw that the key code Q and E were used to control the left weapon and right weapon activation key? So if you just tag this along and find out where this was being used, uh, yeah. If I just go down, this kind of broke my heart a little bit, because we are still using the old input system here, and uh, this game is really well done, and the code base is almost close to as perfect as this could be. But if you use the new input system, you wouldn't even have to do this, not as many places at least, and you are basically having to refer to these variables here. You didn't have to. You could just grab them from the from the new input system. So this is just a nitpick. It definitely doesn't affect the performance. So as long as you're hitting the target and your game is easy to play, who cares, right? The other thing is about Event Manager. So I really like how Event Manager is a class that has a lot of subclasses, and all of these are events and actions that other parts of the of the code base is attaching themselves to, subscribing to them. This is really well done. I was expecting, well, going by the rest of the game, I was expecting this to also be some sort of a singleton. For example, event manager, something that has an instance and you're calling it through that. And I'm really glad that you didn't go in there. So this is also something I really appreciate. Let me actually open up chunk manager. So if I get back to the game, and instead of maximizing, just run it from here, you will see how chunks are being generated. Just a sec. Let's. Yep. So what is happening is that these are some of the chunks that are being generated across. So it's like almost like a roguelike thing going on here. The level is being created as the game is being played. everything is perfect there, except for the fact that the chunks are instantiated and destroyed. This is the chunk prefab, which is being hold on. This is the chunk prefab, which is being instantiated here, and then at some point, it's also being destroyed. When it is being unloaded, it's getting destroyed. This, of course, it is nitpicking again because you are not really like suffering any penalty for that, but there are spikes in the editor, and I can show you those spikes. So these small spikes that you see are basically the instantiation and delete. Also, the fact that when you're deleting something, the memory is not really freed immediately; it's freed at the end of the frame. So for this game, it's fine. But if your memory overflows, which can get really big if this game ever becomes multiplayer, or your world um, grows in such a way that the memory is really struggling to accumulate all the chunks in the visible space, then this could be a real problem. So for scaling this game up, this could be like a live suggestion to use something like an object pool. Unity has an object pooler available natively that you can use if you do not want to roll out your own object pool. But overall, this is really well done, and like we are very proud to present it the best technical execution. It really is a class apart from all the other projects that I've seen in this competition. So congratulations to the winner, and I'm gonna open up the stage for the next speaker.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, man, that game is so juicy. Like the first time I queued into it and like the drill falls, I was in. I was locked. Like that drill drop was such a cool effect. So the game I'm reviewing is Eden 7 Exodus. And I'm gonna run the WebGL build, and I'll explain why in a second. And hopefully I don't start yelling. The game is a little bit loud, so I'll try to keep my my headphones back a bit. I'm just gonna pull them back off my head. Maybe turn the volume down. Let me see if I can full screen this. We'll start. All right, so we've got these 3 lanes, and then we have this nice aiming reticle going out and extending here. And then the idea is we try to stay on the lanes, and then we can shoot to destroy who we're fighting. So I want to blow this guy up. I don't know why, but I seem to want to always destroy as many of these as possible, even if it's not in my lane. Oh. So that's pretty much... Oh, no, the rolling one's got me. And then my health will decline. Your distance goes up. You've got your whole integrity. Yep, I'm in trouble. I'm dead. Okay. So that was the game. I'm gonna go ahead and quit it here, and I'm gonna close this tab just so the music stops yelling at me. And overall, first of all, just a great game. Like really fun, straightforward. The execution was good. There wasn't a ton of complexity to it, but it was really, really fun to play, which I really enjoyed. The reason I ran it as the WebGL build is because when I pulled the GitHub repo down, it was missing some of the important Unity folders that I needed to like look at stuff. And so I had to basically manually import the game, right? Which normally wouldn't be a problem because I had to do that. Like parts of the setup didn't come along with the game. And so I couldn't review it in editor as thoroughly as I would have liked to. So just a side note, when you're looking at your gitignore or however you're uploading those files, take a look at what you're uploading, because I think like it was missing, like there's a couple files you can get rid of inside of Unity, but it was missing like the small asset directory, I think, and something else. And so basically like when you pull it down, I had all of your code, I had all of your assets, I just didn't have like the config stuff. And so it kind of threw off the review there, just a side note. So that's one of my first big notes of feedback, because the code was actually really, really, really solid. It was just that piece of it of like, oh man, I really want to run this in editor and play around and see how everything works. And I was still able to do that to a point, but it didn't run as expected, like it does in WebGL, because some of the hookups were missing. On profiling the game, I mean, you can all see here, it's really, really, really clean. 16 milliseconds is 60 FPS, and I think we get... This is like me turning it off, but otherwise we're looking at just a nice, clean execution. You do have, those little spikes popping up here and there. But otherwise, game ran really, really beautifully. Looking at some of the code stuff, Where is my code window? I'm jealous of all you Writer users. One day. Let me see if I can full screen this. Cool. All right. So I wanted to first talk about, I really love the way that inheritance was set up for the turret system. So you have like your turret base, and then everything kind of inherits from that, and you had your different abstract classes. It was just a really nice, well set up system there. And I also really, really liked how everything was set up with essentially events, right? We just had event after event after event, and everything was hooked together through events, and so it just ran really fluidly. One of the things I also found really interesting is, Saurav was mentioning before, there is just like a native Unity pooling class, but they decided to roll their own instead, and I thought it was really nice, and it was a very eloquent setup. One of the things I liked is throwing some extra little pieces in there. So where's the at? Let's see, return object. So there's get object, and I believe there was a get object at, which I really, really enjoyed, because that basically allowed you just to get, request object at. So this request object at essentially just lets you say, like, I want the object and I want it here, which I just thought was a nice little wrap up, so you don't have to think about, I'm going to assign these variables here and later play. It's just like, I'll just do it with my request, which I thought was really, really nice. Just a nice little quality of life piece, which was good there. There's other stuff that I was really excited about. The projectile beam, again, pretty straightforward physics.raycast stuff. One of the few things I saw put in the update method, which in this instance makes sense because you need to make sure that that projectile beam is always pointing and changing according to the cursor, right? So you need that snappy, instantaneous stuff. And that's another thing I really, really enjoyed about this project is everything felt very selective of like, okay, I know this needs to happen here, but everything else I can move out of these types of areas. So I think optimization was definitely heavily thought about inside of this. The only other real point of note I have for this, because honestly, I thought like when Sourav and Robin, when Sourav specifically said from last year that everything was a step above the rest, like it was just so well executed. Like everything was so rock solid. The only like other nitpick I could find is, and this doesn't even really impact the code base very much, but there's a lot of little like commented out variables and like commented out pieces of code throughout this. Like throughout different classes, there's just random stuff that's like commented out because it's not being used. You could just go through and clean that up, just to kind of tidy up the code base a little bit, make it a little cleaner, and then maybe leave a little bit of documentation behind about how your systems are working. Would have been super helpful as well. Just for someone reviewing it, trying to go through, give us a little bit of a guide, or for future you, if you come back in 6 months to a year to expand the game or change it, and you're like, wait, how did I design this system, or why did I do it this way? Leaving some evidence behind for yourself can be really, really useful, and it'll make future you like past you a little bit more. So yeah, those are really the only notes I had on. Otherwise, I just thought it was really eloquent. It was well put together, and it was just a great game in general. So congrats, and thank you so much for the awesome submission.
All right. We're like ahead of the schedule a little bit, but cool, fantastic. I mean, yeah, we've done this already quite a few times, so definitely would love to do it again. So thank you very much, Sourav. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Thomas, and of course, thank you everyone, because those games were amazing. I played them, and what can I say? Those are like fantastic, and even though the industry is going through these turbulent times, but when you play all those games and see the creativity in people, I would never be able to do anything like that. So it's amazing to see how creative like minds we have. So yeah, I'm quite positive in a way that this industry is gonna survive this storm and will thrive into something new.
Oleg, regarding that, so last year when we were doing this, me and Thomas, I thought people were doing their best, but some of the things were kind of uh, still like rookie mistakes. But this year I was really amazed to see a lot of absolutely top class code, which could really land anyone a proper job in the games industry. So that was a really like a big honor to actually witness and see and examine.
And I think like in times of strife and turmoil, that type of thing, right? Like it's a great time in these times of shift to like keep hardening and like enhancing those skills and get the practice in. And so yeah, I agree with Swarov. Like I felt like we saw just a ton of that this year. So yeah, you should definitely keep doing game jams and submitting stuff and practicing, because I think that's how we all just continually get better.
This
It's
time
not
we also had
not only about, of course, the winners, like everybody who finished something or got to a state and submitted something. You can be so proud about of yourself. Like it's really that's already such a great achievement, and carry on. And this means nothing. This is no setback. This is actually this is a great stepstone towards whatever you want to try to achieve. So good luck and have fun.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to say that, yes, thank you very much. Of course, Robin and Tina Games joining us. Last time we only had the guys joining. So we have, yeah, it's fantastic to have you guys supporting this as well. So we'll carry on. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the reviews and being available. And of course, special thanks to you, Thomas, for drafting always interesting twists to these challenges. Like, I mean, the briefs, things like that. And for everyone who is participating, just as always, reminded that those briefs that we do for these challenges, that's typically is a test task that is given to you. So I know that most of you who join these competitions are juniors looking to break into the industry. So I encourage you to continue. Now you participated, so now you can see what is the test task going to look like when you get to join. At least I know that one of the winners is still studying. I don't know about the rest, but I just saw that in his email. He's still like a student. So this is great, actually, that you see now you know what to expect when you're going to be like looking for that or entering that first job. So you are most probably going to be given a task, a coding task, and we try to make this coding, like these briefs for these challenges, to look as much as possible to the coding tasks that you are be given. So in the way that for all of those of you who haven't taken part in this, I encourage you to join like next time. Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Robin, Thomas, Surav.
See y'all again. Hopefully next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.